today. We're actually going to go under the hood and do some performance modifications. So what I've got for you today is I'm going to be installing a Specialty Motorsports synchro drive. And what that does is it replaces the older heavy chain case that comes with the sled with a belt drive. Normally these are pretty expensive, but I managed to pick this one up used off a local rental company. Had very few miles on it, and it's in great shape. So the reason for replacing this is it's going to lower the overall weight of the sled. It's going to lower the rotational mass, which should allow the engine to spin the track a little bit faster. But the main benefit is that the belt drive is serviceable on the hill. If you blow up a chain or the chain case on the hill, you're in for a big day getting the sled out. So the good news about the belt drive, if that belt snaps, it's a couple minute change and I'm back on the snow again. Pretty simple and easy to do. Okay, let's get started. We'll start pulling apart the chain case and I'll show you how this works. Okay, we're gonna get started here. First thing to do is remove the drain plug from the chain case. Whoa, that was a tight one. Okay, get that draining. Now we're gonna get a little messy here. There we go. This is just a small Allen head, so put that aside, don't lose that. Now, what we're gonna have to do is take off the shot. So that's draining away. I'll disconnect the connector from the shot start. You just squeeze on it, it pops open. Then to get it off, it's just an 8mm socket. There's 4 of these. One. 2. Just experimenting with a different camera angle here, so hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing. Okay, that should just pop off. I'll set it aside for now. And I'm just gonna put these nuts back on so they don't get lost. Know exactly where they go. Okay, next step is to remove all these 10mm bolts around the outside of the chain case. Just a wiggle. And it looks like I have the speed sensor. So, just need to disconnect that. That off, and I'll just have to snip that tie wrap. So this is the inside of the chain case. As you can see, this is your adjuster. That's how you tighten the belt. So let's see what we do that with. Just a regular Torx bit. Very popular with the skidoo. So hopefully you can see that tiny bolt. It had a retainer pin in it, so I've pulled that out. I need to loosen it up. So if you're just doing a oil change and adjusting your tension, you just want to do that up so that it's finger tight, and then throw the pin back in. So you just want to take a look, make sure there's no metal. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is remove this chain tensioner by popping off this spring clip. it off pretty easy. Should be able to go with the shoe. So if you can see it here, try to hold it up. Yeah, a little bit hard with this camera, but you can see that the shoe is really nice and smooth. So you're gonna want to check that if you're gonna keep your chain drive. If this starts to get worn, replace it right away. Okay, top gear is gonna be a 15 mil socket. And try to hold on to it. To get this off, you're gonna need to set the brake. And just a 15 mil on the ratchet. Push those back out of the way. And that pops right off. Gear comes off, and there should be a spacer back there as well. Hold on to those parts. And the next step will be the bottom gear. Okay, to get the bottom gear off, it is just a snap ring. Pliers in. That's good. Starting a little tough. Okay, I had to tighten up my snap ring pliers. Probably best to buy a really good set. I had a cheap Canadian Tire set. So I popped that spring off of there. And now the gear should just pop right off. There we are. So chain's pretty heavy. Both those gears are heavy. Let's get rid of them. And start cleaning this up. See, my chain case was in pretty good shape. It looks like something had rubbed there at one point, so it might have got loose. But not much for metal filings or anything in the bottom. I'm in good shape. So I'm just finishing cleaning up this. I did pop the outer edge of that bearing off just to make sure it was full of grease. And everything looks good in there. So the next step is to take out the speedometer pickup. This is a little intimidating because you got to drill a hole right in the middle of it and then pry it out. So always sucks drilling out part of your sled, but commitment. Okay, put the hole in. Now hopefully this will just pop right out. There we go. It was a little harder than I thought, but here it is, popped right out. So now that we've got the old chain case off, this is what the belt drive looks like in pieces. So the first thing I got to start with is the taper lock that'll go in the shaft to install the bottom gear. So I believe that is this one right here. Let's see how it fits. Okay, the next step is this taper lock. It's got a couple sleeves and this tapered block. So what I'm going to do is put it in there with the ridge to the inside. I'll slip the taper block in, and I got to push it a little ways to get enough clearance to get in. And I'm going to just gently, get it the right way. I'm going to slide this one in on top. Once it's in place, I can pull it out, and that'll hold it tightly in place. Now that it's tight, I pull that bolt out. Perfect. Now we can start installing the belt. Easiest way is to put it under here. Get a spacer, fits over top. The bottom gear goes in next. Just wiggle it into place, perfect. And then this bolt here, or this washer, is also the Speedo pickup. Put it on top there. Oh, put it on top. There I am. And then the Allen bolt goes on. That should thread nicely into that taper block. And we can tighten it up. So it's actually starting to take shape and look like a real belt drive now. Brake is still on, so this is pretty easy to tighten it up. It's starting to get tight, so I'm going to get my torque wrench. Torque wrench is set to 30 foot-pounds. Okay, one thing I forgot to mention is that I did use red Loctite. There you go, on this bolt. So the next step is to get rid of this old chain tensioner, because the belt drive has its own. You just keep screwing this bolt out until the end pops off. You can see it there. Perfect. Out with the old, get the new one in. This is the new chain tensioner. It will go right in there. But to get it in, I believe we're gonna have to pry this a little bit. Pry bar. Okay. That is roughly, let's see here. Having a bit of trouble just fitting that in. Looks like it's lining up, but I don't know. Try putting a bolt in. Okay. Here's the problem, is I gotta fully remove that chain tensioner. And now that fits much better. So now I can put some bolts back in, and then we'll be able to put that other tensioner on. Now, I'm just gonna stop for a second and get some blue Loctite to put on those. Got our blue Loctite. Dab on there. And we'll start putting this thing together. Okay, I lost you for a second there. Battery died on the GoPro, but I got a fresh battery and ready for more action. Still just putting on this tensioner plate. One more bolt to go back in. And something's not quite lining up. Okay, I think that's actually the larger bolt in there. That's our Torx one. There's a couple of these out here as well. So more blue Loctite. One that goes through here. And another one that goes inside that other hole. There, that's a little better. And it's a little tight. I'm just gonna have to throw a ratchet on there. Might as well tighten up this one. The proper torque is supposed to be 20 foot-pounds on these big ones, and just 8 on the smaller ones.
but I'm just doing them up nice and snug by hand. Okay, just switch bits and tighten up these last couple. Make sure they're nice and snug. Okay, looks like we got our tensioner in place, and I check the instructions and come back to you. Now, we slide this hub over the shaft, put a gear on. Now I'm actually reducing this gear by 1 tooth, so that's going to lower my gear ratio and hopefully give me a little bit better track speed, especially in the deep snow. So that's one of the big advantages for switching to this for me, is it's easy to switch out this top gear and try a different gear ratio. Okay, that's popped into place. I need to get some more bolts. Now before we move on any further, we're going to put in the stock tensioning bolt and just get that kind of started. Getting our tensioner tightened up. It just threads right into the new one. We'll grab. There we go. I just want to get it in there until I start to see something move. There we go. We are moving. So next, we're going to put on our top gear. So first thing to go on is the hub. And then, oh, sorry, let's do it this way. All right, I fast forwarded a bit, got all the bolts in, ready to torque them up now. So I'm gonna torque the big one to 38 foot-pounds. Big one. And the little one, we only need to get to 9 foot-pounds. One regular star pattern. Just double check them all. So this probably would have been a bit easier if I tensioned the belt up, but we'll do that next. Okay. Moving along, we've got this bottom cover to put on next. So it looks like I gotta put in this piece first. It goes on the bottom. That'll help me hold on the cover. So let's get that going. Okay, And now my top piece. Should spin the speedometer into here. Camera cable. Line it up. A little bit of blue Loctite on everything. One. Get it started. Get the second one started. Same thing. Blue Loctite. Oh, this is another tough one to get in. Okay, switch back to my ratchet, get that lower one in, then I've got some smaller ones as well, right up here. Probably won't show you that because it's going to be really boring to watch, so I'll fire this one in and then I'll just kind of show you the finished product from there. This is okay, I'm gonna get an extension and I'll show you. So there it is. We got the whole thing installed. I connected the Speedo wire, and if you can see it, pretty tough to tell, but I just strapped the Speedo wire to the frame back there. So the only thing missing now is the shot start. So in the instructions they recommend bolting it up to the frame up here. So I'm going to do a little looking here and show you exactly where I put it. So the shot start, I had to reroute the wiring through here. And you can kind of see it, it pops out in the back side. And I've mounted my shot start right to this frame rail. So I drilled 2 holes and then riveted to it. That's as per the instructions and from Specialty Motorsports. So looks like it's out of the way and should hold pretty good.
So there we have it. Got the belt drive in, made that top gear a little bit smaller, so we should be a little bit lighter, and with the lower gearing you should get a lot more track speed, especially in deep snow. So yeah, I'm excited to try this out. Follow me for a little bit more and I'll update you on how it works out throughout the season. Thanks.